Hello, this is Father Scott Leanna, the parish priest here at St. Thomas of Canterbury in Greendale. Every year for the past 34 years, it has been my singular blessing to go on a wilderness canoe camping trip with my good friend John. And we have been doing this since we were 20. We go to the U.S.-Canada boundary waters, usually on the Canadian side, and there spend a week really doing wilderness camping, paddling, portaging all our gear over land, more paddling, and really just being out in the elements. There is no running water, no designated campsites. You're really in wilderness. It is one of the most beautiful places I know on this earth. One year, we were paddling through a very long lake called Lake Agnes. It's about 18 miles long, and on either side of Agnes are just very steep and very high rocky walls. So we're paddling through on this warm summer day, and we look back, and way off in the distance behind us are just what look like very dark storm clouds, and we kind of agreed we better keep moving so that we can be done with this lake before the storm hits. Seems like moments later, we looked behind us again, and the storm was practically on top of us, and it included thunder and lightning and these horrible winds and driving rain that seemed like it was coming at us sideways. So we both got down into the canoe. We knelt down into the canoe to create a bit more stability and paddled like crazy for the shore. Now remember, this is a lake with very high rocky walls, and so there really aren't places in Agnes that one could easily pull over, but somehow we got to the side of the lake and we found just a little bit of an alcove, and we were able to paddle around it, and it provided us with just a little bit of a break from the horrible wind and driving rain and the really large waves. We scrambled out of the canoe, pulled it up onto shore, pulled all of our gear out of the canoe, put it kind of together in a group, turned the canoe over and pulled a tarp over the gear and us, and sat together in the midst of this driving storm. And we looked at each other and we sort of laughed, a laugh of gratitude, just that we were able to get off the lake that quickly. And now in the midst of all of this turmoil and all of this tumultuous storm, be in a place of some safety and some security. And as the storm was blowing all around us, we recounted past trips, talked about what was happening in our own lives, and just sort of hunkered down and were grateful for that time and to be out of that storm and off the water. Later, the storm passed. Our gear went back into the canoe, as did we, and we continued our journey. Our stewardship theme this fall is called Grace in the Midst of the Storm. And we're kind of in a storm of another sort right now, aren't we? I could go on about all the ways that this pandemic has affected so many of us in our lives and the lives of loved ones. I could talk about the turmoil we are experiencing right now as a country and as a society. You all know this as well as I do. And so the question becomes, when we are paddling in the midst of all of the storms that are a part of our lives right now, what is our safe place? Where do we go to find a bit of a rescue from the storm? And for me, this place and this community of faith and you are, for me, part of that safe place in the midst of the storm. Because I find God's grace and God's presence here in the ways that we continue to reach out and share with one another. I find a break from the storm when I am able to offer worship for us. And although we're not here praying together the way we normally would be, I know that a lot of us are able to participate remotely in the worship that is being offered and in the formation opportunities that are being offered. I find a bit of relief from the storm when I think about ways we are trying to relieve others who are in the midst of the storm through a whole variety of ways that we are seeking to engage in outreach. I find some hope in the midst of the storm, knowing that we are committed as a parish community to also look at the storms around us and learn more about them. Learn more about racism and the ways that that is affecting God's people, all of us. Learn more about some of the inequalities that are a part of our society. Learn more about how we can be safe and care for one another in the midst of a pandemic. All of this, for me, are ways that we can provide safety and be shelter in the midst of the storm that is a part of our lives right now. And so Jenna and I are certainly going to make a financial commitment to the mission and ministry of St. Thomas in 2021. We are grateful for this community of faith that is for us a resting spot, a shelter in the midst of the storm. I encourage and ask and invite and challenge you to please do the same. Offer your support of this parish community in the coming year. I believe with every fiber of my being that we will be together again, and that we will once again be together here in this place, listening to God's word, being nourished by the gift of the Eucharist, and most importantly, right now, the thing we are lacking, we will be together with one another. In the meantime, I wish you grace as you continue to paddle, as you continue to find your way through the storm that we are in the midst of. And I pray that St. Thomas of Canterbury Parish may always be, for all of us, a shelter, a resting spot, a place where we can find calm, peace, focus, and something of the presence and love of God in the midst of the storm. The storms we are in the midst of now, and the other ones that inevitably will accompany all of our lives. May God bless you, and thank you for your generous support of the mission and ministry of this parish.